Speaker, I stand as the second person with reservations.
Please proceed.
My reservations are primarily because of unanswered questions, Mr. Speaker. Number one, is the math correct in this budget? Mr. Speaker, when we went into session in January, there was a $300 million hit and then another $600 million hit to almost $1 billion that we were expecting in a shortfall. As I listened to my colleagues, it seemed like everything is well, all is hunky-dory. But if you look at the 6-year plan, which is only a 4-year plan in this budget, there is a deficit of $200 million ending balance in 2020. That's FY20. That's 2 years from now, Mr. Speaker. 4 years from now, no, sorry, 3 years from now, it's $400 million ending balance. And in FY22, it's $450 million. So is the math correct, or is this a sustainable budget, Mr. Speaker, is my question. Some of the things that were supposed to be cut, I don't think were fully cut, or if the math actually ends up to what it is. I applaud the efforts at homelessness. I applaud the efforts at stimulating the economy. Mr. Speaker, the cost of living has not gone down, and the homeless situation, at least according to my constituents, is getting worse. So if we're throwing money at something and kicking the can down the road, I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference. The point is, Mr. Speaker, we have a budget that's not a mom-and-pop budget. This is $14 billion. This is serious financing. And Mr. Speaker, if we get an economy where, according to a Star Advertiser survey, says that 1/2 of our population, or 48% to be specific, is one paycheck away from homelessness, we've got a lot to do to strengthen our economy, to strengthen our spending, and Mr. Speaker, to be prepared for what we do on the floor here for the rail project, because this assumes an economy that's just going to keep going off the charts, and that may not be a correct assumption. The problem is, Mr. Speaker, I think we can do better economically, and we need to put a budget together that we can go for the long run and be sustainable. Thank you, sir.
All right, Representative, thank you very much. Representative Tupola, then Dekoi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, in support.
Please proceed.
I wanted to thank the Finance Chair, the Vice Chair, and the GIA Chair for their work, and it was a privilege to be on the committee this year and to see kind of how everything goes down in each of the departments, how the requests go, and I think that I appreciate all the comments made by my colleagues in regards to everything that was added to the budget, but I also wanted to highlight that we cut out a lot of waste as well, and that was a part that I think a lot of people get down on us for, is that there's extreme government spending in places where we should be cutting back. And especially with the projected decline in the Council on Revenues, I think that we addressed a lot of that. And I'm sure we could do a better job. I'm sure we could cut more, but I think that we addressed areas where perhaps there was a person that might have been getting 2 different salaries, or perhaps there was vacancies that had been for years, that some of these vacancies hadn't been filled, so that we could actually put the money into places where they're really going to make a difference. I wanted to highlight that. My gratitude for the money that went into a lot of the DOT infrastructure costs, especially because I have a harbor, an airport, lots of roads in my district, and so I saw that, as well as, you know, funding for proactively for a library in my district that's about to open up, and wanted to also thank and I guess agree that the chair and the WAM chair asked if they could do a tour once it's open, which would be by the end of this year, and that's awesome. I think we should do that. But lastly, I wanted to highlight that a few of the GIAs that got released are going to organizations that really make a big difference. I think that it's one thing to release money, but it's another thing to release money into the hands of people who actually make impacts and are the right people for the right jobs. I know that for Reuse Hawaii, it was a big deal that they got some. They've been doing a lot for our housing industry to help out, you know, for Bobby Benson being the only, you know, little youth services that actually helps a lot of kids in my district as well. That really helped out, as well as, you know, I was really grateful for the money that A Bridge got, because we've been working with them on different homeless issues. And I bring those up because some of these people work day and night in these nonprofits trying to do good causes, but need that extra help from our government, and I was grateful for the GIA chair and looking at some of those and choosing them accordingly based upon these groups that have made big impacts in our community. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right, thank you very much, Representative.